हाय हेलो फ्रेंड्स कैसे हैं आप लोग। आई होप आप यू ऑल आर गुड एंड फाइन, सभी लोग आप अच्छे होंगे। वंस अगेन वेलकम टू बैक माय चैनल निर्मल टेक्निकल। एंड फ्रेंड्स, एज यू नो माय नेम इज निर्मल शंकर। सो today tutorial is about imagine it's not about Kubernetes. Actually it's Docker one about Docker, that is port expose of container. So before starting this tutorial, I have like to ask to friends, if you have not subscribed my channel till now, so please subscribe to my channel Nirmal Technical and like this video. Thank you so much. Thank you all. So today I will tell you how to expose a port inside a container. So what is that port expose? How we can port expose inside a container? So what is the purpose of port expose in Docker container? Actually, I will tell you, let's say if if service A or B running in inside a container, so as you know, friends, container is isolated to host. Okay. So until if we don't expose that port inside a container, so outside a Docker container, we cannot access that service. So you can say outside a container to access the service which is running inside a container from outside. Outside that means from anywhere. You can say via internet. So there is a way, there is a process to access the service running inside a container, that is called port expose. Port expose and mapping with host server. No worry, I will show you on practical how to do, how is it possible. So the concept is that if user want to access the service which is running inside a container outside the container, that means via internet. So there is a way, there is a process to expose the port of a container and map with a host port. So if anyone want to access that service, so the user can access that service via the internet, that host IP and colon that port which we will expose. So this is the concept. So I have a picture for a better understanding. Let me show you friends so that it could be more clear for this point port expose. Okay, hopefully this pic is showing you all. So let's say there are two container 1 and container 2, which is running on Docker host, and this is a user who want to access this service inside these containers. So this is a Docker host, which is marked with a green color, and these are containers. So container 1 and container 2. In container 1, Apache server is running. In container 2, MySQL is running. So let's say this user want to access to this server. So how it is possible? We have to expose the port of this Apache server, which is running inside a container. That port is 80. By default, the port 80 is for Apache server in a container, and will be mapped to the host part, to the host that means your server, you can say your cloud server where the container is running. Okay, so I will expose, yeah, we have to expose this port. So this port, which is actually for the container, in container. So inside a container, I will expose the port 80 where Apache server is running and will be mapped to this port 8080 of a host server, so that from the outside that means worldwide, where anyone who want to access the service, okay, via internet, so user will connect IP of this host server, IP of I will tell you the try to get it understand how what is the hierarchy to connect this Apache server which is running inside a container. So let's say the user who is sitting on the World Wide Web, that means internet, what he will do, he or she, okay, the user will connect the IP of this host server and colon at this port 8080. So that user will be able to access this host server. Then what will be happen? Because of host server which is mapped this that port of container inside that container. So user first will reach to the host server, then later the user will connect to this service via the port 80, because we have already exposed this port of that container to these ports. Okay, so user will hit this IP, then user will connect to this host server, and then host server will already users host server is actually already connected to this container by this port. So user will connect, then directly will access this service. So this is the hierarchy how a user can access the service outside the container, because our container is isolated. Docker container is always isolated to the host. So for the access the service of container, user in terms of outside the your host, your machine server, outside the container, user in outside the your server, that means who is sitting anywhere, that means called an internet. So he will see that user will access the service via the port exposed. So 80 will be mapped with 8080, that user will connect to this port. Then because this is already communicated, it is communication is stabilized, and you can say the both ports are mapped with each other. So user will connect to this and will be automatically redirect to this service. So this is the theory, you can say, concept of a port expose in Docker container. Now it will be more understanding when we will show you in practical. Okay, so till now I am trying to give a overview about how port expose works actually. So this is the hierarchy. Similarly, for MySQL application, let's say the service is running in container to MySQL, and that is running on port 3306. So similar way, user will access this host IP and colon this port 6603. Then user will be automatically redirected to this service, because we have already exposed and mapped these ports. So this is the way how user can access the service running inside a container. Now let me show you on lab, so it will be more clear for you friends. So closing this So actually, I have already created a VM on Oracle with VM VirtualBox. That name is Docker, which is currently powered off. So firstly, I will power on. I will start this VM. So let me show you some details about this VM. That name is Docker. Operating system is Ubuntu, and there is a four processor, four CPU, and a 4 GB RAM, which I have configured before starting this session because it takes actually some time. So I thought that I should do before starting this session because otherwise the session will be more lengthy. That's why I already created this VM on this Oracle VirtualBox. So let me to start this. So now VM is powering up. That is in already progress to power on this. For practical way, that means how it is possible, how we can expose port and how we can use service outside the Docker host or your server where you are running, where you are doing Docker use, where your container is running. So all of the things I will share with you. So now our machine is ready, our VM is ready. So actually I will access this VM on putty. So because for putty we have to take IP of this VM. So in Linux platform there is one command IP address. So I will take the IP from here. So IP is 19, you can see 192.168.0.104. So putty, let me open that putty terminal 192.168.0.104. So it will here I will work here because actually here that is this interface is okay, but easier way I can work and show you on putty terminal. So let me do minimize this Oracle VM VirtualBox. Now you can see. So I have opened that VM on putty terminal using the IP of that server. So Control L. Let me do login as a root user. Sudo su. So I will start from beginner. Okay. I will first install Docker. Then I will show you how we can expose the port and mapping, and then how we can access the service which is running inside a container from outside your server. You can say outside your Docker host and internet. No worry. It, today our tutorial is going to be very interesting. So please keep watching. So you can say if I will run the command docker info. So Docker is not here. However, actually the command Docker not found because the reason behind it because Docker is not installed right now. So first I will install the Docker. So there is a very simple and very simple concept. There is very simple commands. So apt because this is Ubuntu Debian platform for Linux. The command is apt get install Docker -y. So why I'm putting -y in last of this command because if in the running during the command progress, if system will ask to us why, yes. So We do not need to put every time yes. It will take automatically if I will add this hyphen y in command last. So put the enter the Docker you're installing on the machine. It will take some time, dear. Let me change the color. Okay. So you can see Docker has been installed. I think color is good, but I should change the color. Hmm. Okay. So Docker has been installed in this machine server. Now let me do start Docker. So if you want to see either Docker is running or not, because till now I have installed Docker only. So service Docker status. Okay, it's already running because before starting the session, I did initially when I launched this VM. So that time I installed Docker that time. However, I removed the configuration from the server. So I think when I installed this Docker, it came, it activated. So no worry, because if you first time you are going to install Docker on your machine, so you have to start enable this service. But actually, in my case, I had already installed the Docker on my server, and later then I removed the configuration. So when I install again, so that is it's activated. It's showing activate running. Otherwise, what I need to do in that case is do command service systemctl start Docker, and next command is systemctl enable Docker. But in my case, actually, I had already installed Docker and this server. So later then I removed the configuration, but somehow I when again I installed, so it's already showing activate. So it came activated. Okay, moving on. Friends, just allow me only 1 minute, please. So again, I'm back. So now Docker is already installed and it is active and running. So Control L. Now I will create a container of first Apache server HTTPD. The Apache server, that image is HTTP, HTTPD. Okay. So there is two way. Either I will first install the image of Apache server. I will pull that image. I can do. Then I will create a container. Otherwise, I will directly create a container, and the quality of that Docker daemon Docker app, that it will automatically pull. So let me show you. So Docker run -i2, that is interactive mode. And now please, it is very important command which I am going to fire on the server. So I will show you how to expose the port inside a container. So first of all, I am going to create a container, and instantly together I will also expose the port of container and will map that host map or host port. Sorry. Okay. So Docker run -it, that is interactive mode, and hyphen name. So whatever you want to set the name of container, you can put here. It doesn't matter what you want. Okay, whatever you want. So Docker run -it interactive mode hyphen name. So I will put the name of container here. Let's say test container. So test CONTAINER test container, then -p. That is very important. P means that is port expose and map. Okay. So if you want to expose a port inside a container and map with host port, so you have to define when you are going to create a container at the time. So Docker run, that is command. It is very popular command. Docker run -it, that is interactive mode hyphen name, and that container name -p. Now port 80 I will expose, that is host port 80, and for Apache server that 80 port is used. So wait, 80, this port is called host, or your machine or your server port. So that is called host port 80, and this is a container port. Now what I am going to write down, so that is container port. So as you know friends, 80 port is by default used in Apache server inside a container. Then whatever you want to create a container for, using that image. So here I am going to create a container for Apache server. So I will put here that Apache server, that is called HTTPD. 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 Okay. So Docker run -it interactive mode hyphen name, that is called container name. Docker run interactive mode, then name, that is called name, then container name, then I will expose. So that today our lab agenda, you can say today tutorial, that agenda, this is main thing. So if you are going to expose a port of inside a container and to map with a host port, so -p, this is called host port or your server port, where you are using Docker. You are going to create a container, that is host port, host, host, host port, and this is called your container port, where you are going to create a container, yeah, where container is running, that is called container port. Okay, and this is image. So HTTPD, that is image, which is Apache server. So let me enter the command. What is the problem? Docker invalid inference format. So Docker run. Docker run -it. Oh, okay. This is called -p only, not equals. This time it should be run without any error. Yes. So there is a one mistake. Here is you can see hyphen p not there. There is a equals and then p. So it is not correct. Actually, there should be hyphen p only. So you can see because that unable to find image HTTPD Apache server on locally that is our server. So there is one specific feature you can say if you are going to create a container and you don't have that image in your local machine. So it will be automatically download from the Docker Hub. You don't need to pull. If you want to pull, you can do. But if you don't want to pull, so you can. It will be automatically pull from the Docker Hub. So I think I should change the color. Mm, I think now it's very good in comparison of that color. Okay, so you can see that image has been already pulled from Docker Hub and container is successfully created. So what is the command to see the running of container in your Docker Hub? How we can see the Docker PS. You can see here it is not showing any container because container we have created, but container went already stopped. So how we can check? So this is the command for the container which are running currently. You can see if you fire the command docker ps, so this is command valid for those containers which are currently running. But if any container is stopped, so you have to fire the docker ps -a. So it will show you all of the containers which have been created till now on your server. So you can see test container. I will show you. Yes, you can see now the I have set the name of container test container. Okay. And the image is HTTPD that is called Apache server and that is called container ID. So container is already exited. That means container is not currently running. So firstly, I have to start this container because container is successfully created, but container is not currently running. One more thing I will show you. Right now you can see in ports there is nothing. But when I will start the container, so it will show you the ports which are mapped. So what is the command to start a start a container? So Docker start a date container name. Simple. Docker start and what is the container name? Test container. Now again I will fire this command. Now you can see up 3 seconds. That means Docker is container is running and what port are exposed. So port 80 are exposed and already mapped with this first port 80. So here now container has been successfully created and it's running. So if I will fire the command, so you can see time will be here changed because that time is increasing. That's why you can see 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay. So I will show you one more thing. Firstly, I will connect this container. You can say, firstly, I will access the service inside a container. Yeah, I will connect this container. So what is the command? Docker execute -it that is called interactive mode and this container name and bin bash shell command. Now you are inside a container. You can see here is root home directory, but you can see here you are now inside a container. Or you can see there is simply it is written Apache 2. So now I will first upgrade this server apt update -y. So that is Ubuntu base. Actually, the host machine is on Ubuntu. So the command is apt update -y. Then apt upgrade -y. Control L, and let me install the curl package. Okay. Now I will show you. See, if Apache server is running inside a container, you will, if you will curl then localhost, so it should visual, it should show us it works. That is, Apache server is successfully running inside a container. Web server is successfully running inside a container. So curl local host, you can see it works. It works. You are can see Docker localhost :80. The same output should become because the 80 is by default. Okay. Now you are accessing service inside a container. Okay. But how we can use this service outside the container? This is our main agenda today. How we can access this service, access this Apache server outside the container, outside this server. So let me show you. Docker PS. Okay. So it is already running. So what I will do, as I told you in starting when I started this session, I will take the IP of this host IP, and that port what I exposed of host server, not container. And then I will open this on web browser, interside, outside the world, outside this container, that is World Wide Web, anywhere or in internet. So command is IP address. So you can see, I will take this IP and also the port 80H, it is for host port. Again, I'm telling you, this port which is exposed inside a container and mapped with host port. Host port, that means our server, and this is a container port. So do not get it confused. This is a container port 80, and this that is same port, but this is a host port. Host port, that means your server where you are running the container. So don't get it confused, please. Okay. So I will take the IP of this host and I will go on web browser. So put here and simply put the what? Imagine host port what I already exposed and mapped with container port 80, and see the magic. It works. That means from internet you are able to access the service which is running inside a container. It works. Okay, so this friend, this is the process and way how we can access the service from outside the container, from outside the host via internet inside a container. One more example I will show you. So this is for Apache server. Now let me share with you for Nginx. So again, same thing I will do. I will create a container but taking the image of Nginx. So, and again, one more thing. Let's say if I will stop this container, then we would not be able to access this. That means it will show not connected. Something like this, but it will not show it works. Okay. So let me do some interesting thing. So Docker PS hyphen Docker PS. PS, that means if container is running, then it will show only. It will show only running container. If you fire the command Docker PS, it will show you only the running container. If you fire the command Docker PS hyphen A, it will show you all of the containers which you have been created till now, and in on your server, but not deleted. Deleted container it will not show you. If container is already deleted, it will not show you. But if you have created a container, either the containers are running or not, but the output of this command docker ps hyphen a it will show you. Okay, what I will do, I will stop this container. I will stop this container. That means I will stop that service. And that after that, we will not be able to access the service which is running inside a container. So same command docker start and stop, docker stop and container name. One more thing, friends, you can also take the container ID starting digits. Let me do. You can see now container has been successfully stopped. So either you have to put that container name, yeah, you can put the container ID starting digit. No need to put all the digits for that container. Okay. Now let me to check. Either we are going to able to access this service or not. Yes, friends, you can see unable to connect. This is the concept. This is the logic behind this. How we can access service. If the container is running and we have already exposed, then we can access. If container which service with that service which is running in that container, but we already stopped that container. So how we can access? Because we broke the path. Okay, let me do one more example. So now I will create a container using Nginx image. So same command docker run hyphen it interactive mode, then hyphen name, and now what I will put the name, whatever you want. Okay, I will take the my name Nirmal and image. So you remember you are forgetting one thing, my friends. I am not forgetting, but just I was asking to. I'm not asking because this is not live, so no one can tell me right now. Yes, but of course, in interesting way, I'm just telling you, I have to expose the port if I want to access, if anyone want to access service outside. So hyphen P. Now, one more thing, if I will put here 80. So firstly, what port here put I will put here this port is for host port, your server port, not container port. But I already exposed that port of host 80. So here I have to take a different port. I have to take a different port. So let's say 80, so I will take a 82 and 80. So let me tell you, friend, for Nginx inside a container, it is also a by default 80 port you can use. Okay. Uh, but one more thing, that container should be different, I believe. Okay. So again, I am telling you, this is the host port, that is your machine port, which you are going to expose and map with container port. This is called container port and image is nginx. So nginx nginx. So this image is not actually in my local machine. So firstly, Docker will pull this image from Docker Hub. See the magic. Unable to find image nginx. Locally that means on your machine, on your server. What is the problem here? Um, the product does not exist or may require Docker login. What happened? Docker to resource. Yeah, it's, I think the image is some problem, image name. Okay, let me do open the duplicate session of this. Let me see whether the container is uh, in progress creation or not. So let me change the color of this duplicate session. No worry, this is the okay. This is the same session, but I open a duplicate. Docker PS. Okay, you can see uh, the container which I have created, which I just created. That name is Nirmal. It is successfully has been created, and it is up about a minute. And the port 80 is exposed of container and mapped with 82 of the host port. Okay, so same exercise I will do for this container as well. What I have performed for the Apache server, I think it is already done, but it's showing some process ongoing. So I will do exercise on this duplicate session. Control L. So Docker PS. So I will access this container first, and let me show you now what output should become. Then it will be more clear if I will access this container outside that machine via internet. So the same command docker execute -interactive and container name, then /bin/bash curl localhost. Yes, you can see doc type HTML welcome to Nginx. If if I will access the container outside of this machine via internet, the output should become like this. About Nginx something, not exactly, but if output should be come about Nginx, that means we are able to access this container from outside. So what I will do, Control L, and I will exit this container. But again, telling you friends, if you exit the container, so might be your container will stop. You can so before access this service from internet, you have to check either your container is running or not. Might be your container already stopped because due to you exit, and you are trying to exit this container from outside your from internet. So you will not able to access. So first, every time you have to check your container is running or not. So Docker PS -a. So you how I share that content is successfully running and it is up. So you can see in status if it is showing up and doesn't matter time. It doesn't matter time. It should be up. Then that means container is created, but it is running also. If it is showing exited, that means container has been created, but currently it is not running. So you cannot access. Okay. So again I'm telling you, I will take the IP of this host machine only. But this time I will the port 82, not 80, because 80 is already mapped with Apache server with the container name is test container. So let me do. I will take the same IP and paste here and colon 82 and see the magic. Yes, welcome to Nginx. That means you are able to access the container from outside. Welcome to Nginx. If you want to see the same thing what I applied for that Apache server container, so I will stop that container, then it should not become. Then how? So Docker stop and container name. Now you can see it will not work. Definitely. Yeah. It's taking time and yes, unable to connect. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this session. You have learned more things. You have learned about how to expose a port inside a container, a map with the host port, and how we can access this. how we can access the service which are running inside a container from outside via internet. So this is the overall, and thank you so much again. And I'm saying you, please, if you learn something, if you think it is good for you in technically way, so please like this video and subscribe to my channel Nirmal Technical. Thank you so much.